Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Let me ask you something powerful. Why do we keep holding on to people who break us? Why do we tie our self-worth to someone else's approval, especially when that someone is the very source of our pain? Imagine clinging to a burning rope. It hurts, it scars, it slowly destroys you. And yet, you don't let go. Why? Because deep down, we believe we must suffer to be loved. We convince ourselves they'll change, that we need them, that we can't be whole without them. But the truth is brutal and freeing at the same time. We're not afraid of losing them. We're afraid of meeting ourselves without them. Carl Jung didn't just study the mind. He dissected the soul. He believed that the relationships that hurt us the most are not random. They are mirrors, shadows, archetypes revealing the unconscious parts of ourselves we've spent a lifetime avoiding. Letting go of someone who wounds you isn't just about deleting their number or blocking them on social media. It's a spiritual rebirth, a transformation, a return to yourself. And today, in this moment, we begin that journey together. This isn't just a self-help speech. This is a deep dive into the dark waters of your psyche. This is for the one who stayed too long in a relationship that left them bleeding. For the one who mistook pain for passion, who confused control with care, who saw the red flags but thought they could turn them into roses. If you've ever loved someone who couldn't love you back, if you've ever begged for breadcrumbs while starving for affection, this message is for you. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." That's not just a clever quote. It's a lifeline. It means that the pain you experienced wasn't meaningless. It had a message. You didn't stay in that relationship because you were weak. You stayed because a deeper part of you believed you deserved it. And that belief didn't start with them. It started long ago, in the hidden corners of your childhood, your trauma, your unmet needs. The shadow, Jung's powerful concept, is the part of us we bury. The shame, the fear, the insecurity, the inner child who was abandoned, criticized, ignored. When someone hurts you and yet you cling to them, that's your shadow calling out, "This feels familiar." Not because it's love, but because it's what you've known. We don't hold on to people because they're good for us. We hold on because they validate the belief we've always had, that love must be earned through pain. It's a devastating realization that we often attract people who reflect our own inner wounds. Jung teaches us that we don't see people as they are. We see them as projections of our own unconscious mind. That's why you might find yourself drawn to someone who withholds affection. Because somewhere inside you, there's a belief that love is conditional, that you must prove yourself worthy, that if you're just good enough, they'll stay, but they won't, because their behavior isn't about you. And your attachment to them isn't about them either. It's about healing something much deeper. Jung believed in archetypes, recurring themes that live in our collective unconscious. When we fall for someone, we often fall for the role they play in our psyche. Maybe they're the father you never had, the mother you longed for, the rescuer, the rebel, the one who mirrors back everything you hate or everything you crave. And when that person hurts us, it's not just their betrayal we grieve. It's the collapse of the fantasy we built around them. Letting go, then, isn't just about walking away. It's about grieving the version of yourself that believed you needed them to survive. This is where the journey gets real, because to let go, you must confront the unconscious beliefs keeping you stuck, the inner contracts you signed as a child. I must be perfect to be loved. I am unworthy unless I'm needed. Abandonment is inevitable. These beliefs are not truths, but they've become your emotional compass, and they're pointing you back into the storm, again and again, until you change the map. So how do you change it? How do you rewrite the narrative? You begin by sitting in the pain, not running from it. Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That means your healing doesn't begin when you distract yourself, but when you feel it fully, when you let the tears fall, when you scream in the car, when you finally say, I can't do this anymore, and mean it. Letting go is not forgetting. It's not pretending you weren't hurt. It's recognizing that the version of you that stayed in pain, that version is not who you are. It's who you were forced to become. And now you get to choose differently. You get to say, I don't want to repeat this cycle. You get to reclaim your dignity, your time, your life. You stop explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you. You stop begging for attention from someone who's emotionally bankrupt. You stop romanticizing the potential of a person who has already shown you their reality. And you start, maybe for the first time, showing up for yourself. Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming whole. That journey is painful. It requires you to look at the broken pieces and not flinch. It requires honesty, solitude, and a commitment to truth. But it's also beautiful, because on the other side of that pain is peace. On the other side of heartbreak is liberation. On the other side of letting go is self-love. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to be tolerated instead of cherished. You were never meant to lose yourself in the pursuit of someone else's approval. You were meant to shine, to evolve, to love without losing your soul. And sometimes that means letting someone go, not because they're evil, not because you hate them, but because you finally love yourself more than the story you've been telling. You outgrow the pattern. You break the chain. This process won't happen overnight. Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll want to run back to what's familiar. But remember, familiarity isn't the same as safety. And love that hurts repeatedly isn't love. It's trauma reenactment. So what can you do right now? Start with honesty. Write down what you feel. No filters. No pretending. Just truth. Then look at the patterns. Who does this person remind you of? What are they reflecting back to you? Do shadow work. Explore the parts of yourself you hide from others. And most importantly, create a new image of who you want to be. Visualize the you who doesn't chase, who doesn't settle, who walks away when respect is missing. That version of you already exists. You just have to choose them. Jung said, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. You are not the broken relationship. You are not the pain. You are not the abandonment. You are the author now. You get to write the next chapter, and it doesn't have to be a tragedy. Set boundaries. Cut cords. Energetically and emotionally. Block their number if you need to. Not to punish, but to protect your peace. And don't let guilt pull you back. You're not responsible for healing someone who keeps hurting you. Create a ritual. Write a letter to them. Say everything you never could. Then burn it. Watch the flames rise as a symbol of your release. And if tears fall, let them. That's not weakness. That's cleansing. The most powerful thing you can say is, I deserve more. Not just say it. Live it. Let that truth guide your decisions, your standards, your boundaries, and surround yourself with people who reflect that truth back to you. Your healing will inspire others. When you rise, you give permission for others to rise too. When you choose peace, you become an example. And that is how the world changes. One person, one brave choice at a time. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us, you are not a victim of your past. You are not bound to repeat it. You have the power to make the unconscious conscious. And in doing so, you awaken. You grow. You transcend. So let go. Not just of them, but of the version of you who believed pain was love. Step into your power. Reclaim your worth. Walk away from anything that costs you your peace. And remember, the love you're searching for has been inside you all along. You don't have to chase anymore. You don't have to beg. You don't have to settle. You are the one you've been waiting for.